In martial arts, there's a dangerous phenomenon that's been growing like cancer. Self-proclaimed masters who claim supernatural abilities and unbeatable techniques. They collect followers, charge expensive fees, and build their empires on lies. But there's one thing these fraudulent masters can't fake: a real bout against an actual trained fighter. Today, we're diving into the most dramatic exposures of martial arts frauds, where paper tigers meet real warriors. Welcome back to Fight Legends Unleashed, where we break down the most fascinating moments in martial arts history. Let's witness what happens when those who profit from lies face those who've dedicated their lives to real combat training. In this analysis, we'll examine the most shocking cases of fake masters getting destroyed by legitimate fighters. You'll see the techniques that actually work and the ones that don't, and learn why some traditional martial arts masters have given their disciplines a bad name. We'll also reveal the psychology behind these fraudulent masters, how they convince themselves and others of their supposed powers, and why they ultimately agree to fights they can't possibly win. Sometimes it seems like a few masters are always high, or they are mentally upset. Take the Tai Chi master who throws his students away like a small pebble without touching. Just a gesture of hand, and they're gone. They believe they can knock out anyone by using their chi. However, it seems like if you look closely, he isn't even touching his students. What kind of voodoo fighting technique is that? But when this master faces a professional black belt master, the odds are against him. The karate master wasn't in the mood to forgive. He charged the Tai Chi master and taught him a life lesson in merely a few seconds. He might forget everything he had in his mind after this fight. These masters got fed up with the Ci and thought of having a Chi class. So they first demonstrated how it works. The person ran toward them, and when he got closer, he fell away. Looks like there was a hidden power called the Chi that threw him away. One of the ladies from the audience got up and tried to learn from them. While trying to wake her own Chi, the same person ran toward her. But this time, the so-called Chi energy didn't wake. The person hit the lady and seemed to have injured her as she isn't moving. But things didn't end here. As he sees things are going in the wrong direction, a seizure suddenly hits him out of nowhere. The woman's chi might be on a 3G network, and the fake master might just be looking for a way to run after getting exposed. Our video might be incomplete without talking about the Yellow Bamboo group, which believes anyone can use the power of his chi to defeat his opponent. This was a full group of maniacs who would behave like lunatics, having seizure attacks upon falling. But they do have bad luck. They were challenged by a professional fighter to have bout one-on-one. Chi masters were used to performing their chi on their lunatic students who could do anything for master's happiness. When the professional fighter ran toward the chi master, nothing happened. Instead, the fighter choked the master in front of everyone. In another try, the fighter pushed the master on the ground like a toy. Perhaps the most notorious case involves a self-proclaimed pressure point master who believed he could disable opponents using chi energy. His demonstrations were impressive, if you only watched his students who would dramatically fall to the ground at his slightest touch. But when he challenged an amateur MMA fighter, reality hit harder than his chi ever could. The fight lasted exactly 12 seconds. One simple combination was all it took to prove that chi energy is no match for actual combat training. The most telling part? After being knocked out, he claimed his chi wasn't activated properly that day. This master named Sun Jianguo was eager to show his talent in front of everyone. So he went on the stage with one of his students to show the remarkable power of Tai Chi. Once the master touched the student, he fell. The next time he even fell from the stage. Seeing this drama, a man came to the stage so that the master could try it on him. The upcoming thing probably remained with this so-called master for the rest of his life. When the guru tried to throw him, the man just stood still, like his powers weren't working. He tried pushing him, but in vain. He tried all of his best moves, but simply nothing worked. Ouch! That kind of humiliation can never be forgotten. One of the most eye-opening incidents involved a Tai Chi master who stormed into an MMA gym with his devoted followers. His goal? To prove that, unlike other Tai Chi masters, his techniques worked in real combat. What makes this case particularly interesting is that the Tai Chi master was significantly larger than the MMA fighter. The result? Size didn't matter. Neither did decades of practicing forms. The MMA fighter needed less than a minute to demonstrate why combat sports with active resistance training produce more effective fighters than systems based purely on forms and theory. This master was demonstrating how powers can be gathered from the surroundings and then used to break anything. If you have the talent of doing things in a unique way, everyone will consider you a master until you meet a real master. This was among those who just knew how to make a scene. This master was showing how to break a brick simply by using your chi. He started by rubbing his hand on the brick and then doing some chores, which seemed like he was getting power from another dimension. But when he tries to hit the brick, nothing happens. It seems like he forgot to say his magical words. What's fascinating about these cases isn't just the fights themselves, but the psychology behind them. These masters aren't always cynical frauds. Many actually believe in their own abilities. How? It's a phenomenon psychologists call true believer syndrome. When you're surrounded by students who play along, never face real resistance, and build your entire identity around being unbeatable, you can convince yourself of almost anything. In one particularly ironic case, a so-called master was knocked out by his own former student. After just 6 months of MMA training, the student challenged his old sifu to a fight. The result? A clear victory for modern combat sports training over traditional techniques that had never been pressure tested. This fight highlighted a crucial point. It's not about the style, but how you train it. Any martial art that doesn't include regular sparring against resisting opponents is setting its practitioners up for failure. One of the most satisfying exposures involved a fake master claiming he could defeat anyone without touching him. He was either drunk or behaved like that. He deliberately challenged a professional MMA artist, announcing that he could beat him without a single touch or punch. This fight wasn't planned in the arena, but in the open place, mainly in a yard where no touch master might get his powers from the surroundings. The match started with the master acting like he was getting powers, but the fighter wasn't going to wait for his powers. He showed what a real talent could do to you. MMA fighter brought back the master to his senses and showed him what a real artist can do. No discussion about exposing fake masters would be complete without mentioning Xiaodong, nicknamed the Mad Dog. This MMA fighter has made it his mission to expose fraudulent martial arts masters in China. His most famous victory came against a Tai Chi master who claimed he could defeat any opponent without touching them. Xiu's campaign isn't about disrespecting traditional martial arts. It's about exposing those who damage their reputation with false claims. His fights have become a symbol of the clash between traditional martial arts and modern combat sports. In this fight, he defeated the Tai Chi master in merely 10 seconds. With a slight jab, the master was done. But the master didn't learn his lesson and came up with an excuse that the matches started way early and he wasn't prepared fully. Last but not least, you will witness a fake Tai Chi master getting beaten up by a professional Muay Thai fighter who is determined to teach him a lesson. In this bout, the Tai Chi master was prepared to knock down the fighter from the very beginning, but the master hasn't faced a real fighter in his entire life. When a Muay Thai fighter showed him what a real fighter could do, the master was totally shocked, even guessing his moves wrongly. The first kick from the fighter was enough to send the master to the canvas. He taught a valuable lesson and might not fight anyone from now on. What do you think about these fake master exposures? Have you ever encountered a martial arts fraud in your training? Let us know in the comments below.